Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for tuning in. Anybody that might, the guy on the thumbnail and the one I just showed, he goes by the name Bill Wooldridge, Bill Coolidge, Bill Delarosable, Robert Cross, James Bubbles, and Harry Potter. He thinks that he is me. He is an identity thief. He is a stalker. He is guilty of murdering my mother, December 20th, 2020. He is guilty of identity theft, and he is a serial killer associated to Russell Williams. He is a sex slavery trafficker with and for O.p.p chief, year 2019. He is a drug trafficker for Robert Kane, 7224, and he is guilty of murdering my mother in 2020. He is guilty of attempted murder on me with the intent to commit identity theft and identity fraud. O.p.p, Ontario Provincial Police, organized trafficking, sex slavery trafficking, tortures, and murders. O.p.p Chief, year 2019. Staff Sergeants, years 2019-2021. Shannon Cork, Robert Lucas, Robert Kane, 7224. Stacy, a mental health worker. Was Napanee Daily Tea Company, AMHS now. And Shelley Hafner. Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V, name and file falsifier, medical blacklister, very seriously criminal doctor, and girlfriend to Stacy, the mental health worker, AMHS. Dr. Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Waldron, Dr. McGregor, Cubby Duck, ex-CEO of the hospital, Cubby Duck, and Patient Relations Brown are all criminally negligent and involved in co-committing and covering up injuring, torturing, sex assaults. They're covering up homicides, drug trafficking, drug lacing, drug overdoses, tortures, stalking, murders. Bill Wooldridge. Blair Hardy is also the one involved with Bill Wooldridge, the one on the thumbnail that killed my mother December 20th. Their accomplices, co-offenders that cannot be arrested, cannot be touched without $22,000 because they can implicate O.p.p, time bought, lies, surrounding hands on guns, cover-ups, arrest refusals, treatment refusals, discriminations. I am a full physical identity theft victim by a homosexual, the one on the thumbnail, Bill Wooldridge, but their accomplices who are guilty of drug trafficking for Robert Kane, 7224, and guilty of murders for O.p.p for drugs and drop charges and immunity. Once again, Bill Wooldridge, the guy on the thumbnail, a Blair Frederick Hardy, who is guilty of rapes, financial thefts and frauds, welfare, disability, pension thefts and frauds, stalking, drug trafficking, injuring, torturing, identity theft with the intent to commit identity and insurance fraud, and he's guilty of multiple murders. He is the boyfriend to O.p.p cop Spencer Mills, while Bill Wooldridge is the boss and accomplice to O.p.p. There is a Tyler Teabag Lake who is guilty of murdering my dog. He is guilty of attempted murder. These are all O.p.p accomplices and rat informants. There is Jason Gimpy Two-Step Van Alstyne. There is a Robert Berry, who is a truck driver, who is a slave trafficker and a possible serial killer. He and his boyfriend, Robert. There is Bert the Hitman Hustler, who is allegedly an NHL hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers and Hartford Whalers. He is a pillhead. He is a meth trafficker. He is a sex slave trafficker. And he is guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit. One Raymond LeBlanc, who is a child groomer, who is a stalker, who is a drug trafficker, meth trafficker, and who is guilty of attempted murder with the intent to commit. His roommate, Sam, she is guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit. Dale Hartwick, who is now aiding O.p.p, a rat informant, for drop charges and free speed, aiding them in committing their torture crimes, my identity theft, with the intent to frame and murder his boyfriend, Anthony Axel Rose Hearns, is guilty of torture crimes, guilty of my identity theft with the intent to commit. He's guilty of attempted murder for, with, and for his boyfriend, Dale Hartwick, and free speed from Robert Kane. The lies, the time buying, the cover ups, arrest refusals, the false arrest, blaming me for all the crimes that are taking place on me with 100% proof. Doctors who are criminally negligent and involved in co committing and covering up brain injury, lung and kidney damages, body mutilations, causing homelessness to traffic their victims between Napanee and Kingston. Kingston Police is also involved with Ontario Provincial Police. They are human trafficking, sex slavery trafficking victims back and forth. They are causing homelessness as well. They're guilty of sex assaults, sodomy, sex assault, kidnapping, blood and piss forcing, false arrest, surrounding hands on guns, the lies, the cover ups, the arrest refusals, the false arrest, the extortion of $22,000 to have Bill Wooldridge and anybody else arrested because they can implicate them. You speak O.p.p crimes, expect Spencer Mills if he shows up at your door, whether in Napanee or anywhere else, because they may have transferred to avoid arresting and charging and serious criminal lawsuits for the crimes that they are guilty of at Lennox and Addington County General Hospital, Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police. The Justice of the Peace is also criminally involved. Accusations, obstructions, threats, intimidations as well. How O.p.p are so successful with their crimes, they are doing it against poor, elderly, disabled, and like I said, homeless trafficking, homeless exploitation for monetary gain. I was sold after I was shot in 2019 by ex-O.p.p chief to Bill Wooldridge, the guy on the thumbnail, the one that murdered my mother with Blair Frederick Hardy. They are untouchable, unarrestable. I am also the end of my bloodline, so O.p.p, the doctors, and the one's name are guilty of murdering the Wood bloodline. And anytime O.p.p or the doctors or anybody else involved wants to exhume my dad in Deserano, Ontario, to prove my identity, to prove my DNA, I am more than willing to let you pay for it to do this because of the crimes that you are guilty of. 5 fucking years because of me speaking of your sex slavery, human trafficking crimes. Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V, is the reason O.p.p are so successful in Napanee, name and file falsifier, and she is a very seriously criminal doctor. Lies about long criminal record and history, not true. They're using these fucking narratives and lies, their badges, positions, credentials against their victims to be above suspicion and to get away with it. I am the one that's been paying for all crimes against me. For the last 3 days, I have barely been able to move. It feels like I'm in the process of being paralyzed. And if anything happens to me and I cannot fucking walk or move, Bill Wooldridge, the one on the thumbnail, and the rest of them, they need to be one way or a charge, one way or another charged. It won't be done in Napanee by O.p.p because they are accomplices to them. But one way or another, these pieces of shit have to be arrested and charged. I want them. I've been trying for 5 fucking years, and I have 100% proof of the crimes taking place with me and by whom, how, and why. You speak O.p.p crimes, expect to be killed, especially if Spencer Mills shows up at your door. The one on the thumbnail, like I said, he thinks that we were switched at birth. He thinks that he is Harry Potter. He thinks that he is my dad, and he was stalking and before he killed my mother, he was stalking my mother and calling her mom. This is how delusional he is. He is also guilty of molesting a child in his driveway on Center Street and Bridge Street in Napanee. He was performing oral sex on a kid approximately 16 to 17 years old, right in front of everybody. Oral sex, giving a kid a blowjob. And these are the kind of people that the cops and doctors in Napanee are associated with. I am not going to take a fall because of the lies that I'm buying. I'm not taking a fall for Blair Hardy, Bill Wooldridge, or any other fucker who is associated with O.p.p. or named because of what's been done to me. Obsessed fucking low-life junkies, crackheads, meth heads, speedheads, pillheads, sex offending, low-life pieces of shit garbage is all they are with and for O.p.p. Dale Hartwick, who is my cousin, he is involved for drop charges for a stabbing he committed against his wife's boyfriend. His boyfriend, Tony Axel Rose Hearns, is involved. You completely and fucking totally deformed me. You completely and totally changed my identity with 100% proof. Brain injuring me, splitting my fucking skull, completely deforming my lungs, screwing my back to the point where you're almost breaking my fucking spine from the torture. Fucking with my spinal cord to completely and totally incapacitate me, to paralyze me, knowing that I cannot get medical help no matter what is done. I cannot go to a hospital. And these bastards are well aware that I am medically blacklisted in Kingston General Hospital, Napanee General Community Hospital, and Belleville General Hospital. I am medically blacklisted because of the falsified fucking file against me through Tatiana V. She needs to be in jail with a Hawkesbury doctor along with a couple other doctors in Napanee. The cops and everyone else are using their money, their badges, their positions, their credentials, and fucking getting away with what they've gotten away with, all because they are queer. And I have nothing against gay people, but they are all homosexual sex offenders. Each and every one of them are on the sex offender registry, the one known as Bill Wooldridge at 149 Center Street, North Napanee, Ontario, is associated to Russell Williams along with O.p.p. cops. When he was killing his victims, they were watching out for him. They were his lookouts for him. While he was murdering to assure that he got away with it. And the only reason the dude was arrested was on fucking public force. If it wasn't for that, he would still be free and he would still be murdering, and the cops would still be watching out for him because they're friends. And they are doing the same with one Bill Wooldridge, who is his fucking copycat. All because he is a delusional homosexual. He also used to live in Picton, Ontario, too. So he uses the name Bill Wooldridge, Bill Cooldridge, Bill Delarosable, Stephen Mabin, who is a Walnut Harbour inmate through O.p.p. He uses the name Robert Cross, James Bubbles, and he also goes by Harry Potter. And luckily, I do not have the $22,000 for their arrest. Dale Hartwick and Tony Hearns, I'm going to see you in prison, you pieces of shit fucking lowlives. I can prove what you've done to me. I can prove the crimes that have been done to me. while being called a liar, while being called a delusional, hallucinating retard through doctors who are criminally involved because once again, they're going on a Dr. Margie V falsified medical file. O.p.p are falsely arresting victims just to get their pictures, prints, and signatures, what they need for them. I am live, yes. How are you doing? Thank you. But no, I'm not. I'm actually getting worse. I'm having a lot of problems moving. I can't move. I'm being seriously fucking, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm having problems thinking. I can barely walk. I can barely move. I feel like I'm in the process of being paralyzed. I have absolutely no fucking feeling in my head in any way, shape, or form from being completely injured and damaged. I'm losing a lot of my memories. I'm having problems remembering my childhood, and I'm having problems now remembering a lot of things because of what's happening. There is no walk-in clinics around here. I wish there was. If there was a place to go around here that I could go get help, I would. It's pretty sad that I am actually medically blacklisted to the point where if I try to get medical help at the hospital, I get arrested and go to jail for it for their fucking crimes. I am the one paying for what's been taking place with me through them. So yeah, I try to get medical help. I go to a hospital. It's either jail or a $500 fine. So this is another reason why they are fucking assuring that I do not get medical help under the threat of jail and fines. Knowing that I do not have that kind of money. And then the $22,000 the cops are trying to extort from me for arrest for these pieces of shit because they're accomplices to them. And I can prove I can prove my words 100%, and I can prove each and every one of them involved 100%. I hope you're having a good day, though, regardless of what's going on with me. And I appreciate you for tuning in. And thank you for being a subscriber. Because of what's been going on with me, and like I said, it actually feels like my spinal cord has been cut or something. It completely dries up all the fluids in my body. I get seriously dehydrated constantly. My spinal fluids, my cranial sacral fluids, and everything else in my body gets dried up completely on a daily fucking basis from this happening to me as well. And I think because of it, that is what's doing damage to my spinal cord. And that's why I feel like I am in the process of being. I'm feel like I'm going paralyzed. I can't bend down. I can barely walk. I now having blood, unfortunately, come from places that I shouldn't, and a lot of it. Back in 2019, I was sodomized. I was sex assaulted through Staff Sergeant Lennox in Addington, Ontario Provincial Police, and the piece of shit that is on the thumbnail, the guy on the thumbnail that I showed. And doctors laughed in my face over it. They thought it was a fucking joke. They then turned around and tried to have me committed for it, for me going there for help for sex assault through cops. And because who it was done by, they tried to have me committed and have it turned around on me like I was the fucking one for being sex assaulted through cops. They tried to blame me for it. And because of it, to this day, I am still having serious problems from it. I don't really want to be talking about this, but at the same time, it needs to be heard because people need to realize what fucking Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police are actually about and their accomplices in Napanee and the criminal fucking doctors who are involved. Treatment refusals, discriminations, having their victims falsely charged to prevent anything illegal on them, to cover up crimes, covering up drug overdose murders as others because it's through O.p.p accomplices. They're drug traffickers, they're human traffickers, the sex slavery traffickers, stalking, drug trafficking, torturing, and murders is what is happening. And the reason I'm going through what I am going through after I was shot in 2019 was because of me speaking of this. I was kidnapped. I've been falsely arrested just to get my pictures, prints, and signatures. I've had no association or criminal record with anybody involved prior to August of 2019. O.p.p chief did on the corner. It was in Napanee, Ontario. It was on the corner of Center and Bridge Street at approximately 3 p.m. in the afternoon in August of 2019. It happened. He drove a white Jeep Wrangler. As I'm doing this right now, I have absolutely no fucking feeling in my head or my face. It feels like I'm getting air pumping through my head. So I'm going completely more numb. I get hypoxia on a daily basis. My skull has been completely split into fucking sections, which I can show and prove. I have my spine being completely and totally mutilated and deformed and stretched out in serious weird ways, which I have pictures to show it, that is certainly not normal in any way, shape, or form. That's the kind of mutilation and tortures I go through daily. After I started talking, after I found out about what was happening in Napanee with the human trafficking and the sex slavery, that's when I was shot. And then after that, November of that year is when I was medically blacklisted through Dr. Tatiana V at Lennox and Ennington County General Hospital, who is the girlfriend to a Stacy, a mental health worker that was in Napanee at Kingston AMHS, and now she is in Kingston, or that was Napanee Daily Tea Company, and now in Kingston at AMHS. My legal rights, my medical rights, and my human rights have been taken from me. And like I said earlier, if O.p.p or anybody else involved wants to have my dad exhumed in Deserano, Ontario to prove DNA and to prove other crimes, I'm more than willing to let O.p.p pay for it. When people are going missing, it is through the fucking police that are doing it. Like I said, they're committing identity thefts on people. They're having them illegally locked up. They're having them medically blacklisted, where they are fucking sex slavery trafficking them, human trafficking them, and possibly murdering them and having it fucking covered up. And that is what has taken place. That is why so many people across Canada and Ontario are disappearing, is because of these bastards. It is the fucking cops who are doing it, these crimes. And I have no, like I said, I had no association with any cop involved. I have no criminal record. So, this certainly is not about hate in any way, shape, or form about cops, which a lot of people think it is, but it has nothing to do with that. I had no association with anybody involved named prior to being shot. My legs are going numb on me. The whole right side of my body is completely numb. I have absolutely no feeling on the right side of my body. Like I said, I now have a tube that comes up from my chest to my throat, to the back of my neck, and up to the back of my head. And I've not had any surgeries. So how the fuck is that explainable? I've had shit put into my fucking body. I'll show a picture to prove it. This is one that's been done to me. This happened after I was shot. That's actually a picture of my fucking skull, and if you look close enough, you can actually see what looks like fingers coming up through the back of my head. It's not like that now. My skull's not like that now. This is originally me. I don't know if that was seen or not, but that's originally me. Another picture of my skull that's been flattened. Doctors call that a delusion, and that I'm allegedly a hallucinating retard, is what their exact words. There's that tube that comes up into the back of my neck from my throat and my chest. And like I said, I've had no surgeries. I have a picture where that is actually popping so far out of my fucking neck. It looks like I don't really know, but it pops right out of my fucking neck, and then it comes up around from my chest and then to the back of my head and up to the back of my head. So once again, done after I was shot, but yet no surgeries. So some identity changes I've physically been through. Like I said, I have physically been through 100% full physical identity theft, identity changes, and there's not been a damn thing I can fucking do about this. So, and that is why the doctors called me a delusional, hallucinating retard because of me speaking and showing that. And that's when I was called a retard for saying I was going through identity theft. And that was through Kingston General Hospital and them getting phone calls because I had long hair at the time. Them getting phone calls stating that I'm a suicidal self harmer, and that's certainly not true in any way, shape, or form. I love my life. I've been trying to fucking get help. I've been trying to save my life. I've been trying to save my bloodline because I'm the end of my bloodline as well. I have other brothers, but we have different dads. So I am the end of my bloodline. More pictures. And I go through that on a daily basis. My skull, from what's going on with me, and my face will sometimes change within 5 minutes. Like I'm a fucking chameleon or something now. And that is no joke. And that is why I constantly am taking pictures and video to prove it. Just in case anybody wants to think it's crazy. So anyway, I think I am going to get off here. I am going to try to get some rest if I can. I have not slept because of what's been going on with me. I've not slept in 3 days. And it is actually starting to catch up with me. I would advise you or anyone else never speak police crimes, because if you do, there will be serious consequences. There will be murders, and they will get away with it. I'm going to wrap this up. It's been like 37, 38 minutes now. So I'm going to get off here and try to go rest. Everybody have a good day. You have a good day. And thanks for tuning in. I'll try to do another live maybe tomorrow. If I can. So thank you, Six Sticks. Like I said, I appreciate you for being here, and I appreciate you subscribing. Have you had a chance to check out any of my other videos on my channel?